Miss Lizzie. I don't ever smoke the dizzy, but we can always share some ditsies. It's just a cup in time. This song doesn't have to rhyme. Life's all of us, not every moment we can be feeling fine. I wanna share a moment, just a second if you will, maybe even a cup of thrill. We could share this performance. It's tea time, come sit with me.
Well, welcome guys. Miss Liz is back. That's right. And I have Glenda Benevides in the back, and she is here. And we're going to talk some Grammy. We're going to talk some new albums. We're going to talk some books. We're going to talk about a bunch of stuff. So if you haven't subscribed to Miss Liz's channel yet, run over to Miss Liz's YouTube channel. It's Miss Liz's Teatimes. Give that a subscribe and follow all these incredible authors and changemakers and all that good stuff out there. So let's get the disclaimer going and a little bit of intro on who Glenda is. And then we're going to spill some tea, but we're not spilling a beverage. We're spilling real life tea stories on Tea Time with Miss Liz. Disclaimer for Miss Liz's Tea Time live shows. Miss Liz myself is going live on StreamYard. Before leaving a comment during the live broadcast, please grant StreamYard permission to display your name at StreamYard.com. Miss Liz's Tea Time is a global platform dedicated to sharing real-life stories, diverse perspectives, and meaningful conversations that inspire awareness, healing, and connection. Please be advised that all the content brought forward during any Tea Time show is presented in good faith. However, discussions may include opinions, beliefs, and perspectives that do not necessarily represent the views of Miss Liz or the Tea Time platform. Information shared by guests is based on their own experiences and perceived to be accurate at the given time of airing. All guests and viewers and participants are responsible for using their own judgment when considering any action or discussion that may relate to this discussion. Some episodes may cover sensitive topics, including that are not limited to trauma, abuse, grief, mental health, and other emotional triggering subjects. Listeners and viewers' discretion is strongly advised. Tea Time with Miss Liz is an open discussion forum designed to offer insight, inspire awareness, and create connection. It is not a substitute for professional, medical, legal, or therapeutical advice. If you require professional support, please seek assistance from qualified professionals or trusted resources in your area. If you have any questions regarding this disclaimer or the content of this discussion, you are welcome to contact me directly at my email, bookingmissliz@gmail.com, or visit Miss Liz's Tea Times on my link tree. By choosing to participate in comments on or views these live shows, you acknowledge and accept this disclaimer. Your participation is entirely voluntary. Miss Liz welcomes you to join the conversation with an open heart, and at any time you feel this platform is not right for you, I respect those wishes and your decision and welcome you back whenever you are ready. Tea Time with Miss Liz is serving truth and awareness one cup of tea at a time. Now, a little bit about my guest. Well, my guest was on Tea Time already. This is her second time around, and we have some incredible updates for you. So it is with deep honor that I am welcome back to Tea Time the extraordinary Glenda Benevides, on award-winning Grammy-nominated singer, songwriter, Recording Academy voting member, best-selling author, and global voice for empowerment and unity. Known around the world as the global badass goddess, Glenda is more than a powerhouse performer. She is a soul-stirring storyteller whose music, books, and mentorship ignites transformation from the inside out. Her mission is rooted in helping others embrace their authentic voice, reclaim their courage, and rise into their full expression. She is the author of Courage, Find Your Fire, and Ignite Action in Your Life. Your Own the Goddess Within and Soul of Fire, books that champion resilience, self-expression, and awakening. Through her retreats, performances, and powerful presence, she mentors women and creators across the globe to live boldly and unapologetic. Tonight, we dive deeper into her journey, her music, and the magic she brings to this world. Please let me welcome Glenda into the house and let's spill some tea. And Miss Liz is going to drink a little sip of coffee because that's right, I'm drinking a nice coffee.
I need a cup of tea. Oh, why don't I have one?
I got coffee. That's what I said. This year I am doing me. Like, you know. So welcome, Glenda.
Thanks, Liz. Like, I'm glad you're back, actually. So, yeah, good.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we all need those mental breaks, right? Sometimes.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think sometimes it's harder for us as women to just go, you know what? I'm taking a break. I'm gonna take a
Yeah.
break, you know, especially when you're building a business and that type of thing. So I totally get it, but it's good. It's good to have you.
Well, you're a global badass goddess, so you know how it works, right?
I do, and it's still challenging. Try to live into that every day.
So, Glenda, you on season 5, something came up, so that's why you weren't able to appear on season 5. And I was just like, I'm gonna find a way. I know I'm gonna find a way to get you back on my platform somehow. And then I decided to come back, and right away you were one of the first ones. Liz, let's do this. So, Glenda, tell me where were you in season 5?
I'm not sure. Was I in Los Angeles or probably doing Grammys or something? Probably, yeah.
Yeah, you were at the Grammys. So
Yeah.
do you want to share a little bit about the Grammys?
Sure. Wow. It's I'm not sure what you want to know, but just being down there was pretty extraordinary. I don't know if people know this or not, but I'll share it. The Recording Academy actually is the group that a lot of musicians belong to. So it's kind of like what would you call it? Like our local,
Music
support
club.
yeah, whatever, music people. And it takes a minute to be able to get in, and not everybody gets in and that type of thing. So it's kind of like a special unit, and so mostly for artists that are really serious about what they're doing and that type of thing. So you get in, and then you have the opportunity every year to submit something, a song, whatever, in whatever style, and hopefully the style that you do. And you get to submit that, and then, hopefully, fingers crossed. I mean, there's a lot more work than that, but you get your peers to listen to your music, and they vote on you. They vote, yeah, that was good. I'm going to vote for you, or no, whatever. So it kind of works like that. So it's really a validation of your peers. I often have people, how can I vote for you? And I go, well, really the only way you can vote is through liking, subscribing, and listening, and buying.
Buying the album.
Buying, yeah, sharing it, so please do that, but the rest is up to my group, the Recording Academy, to do the voting and that type of thing. So yeah, so I was down there. Prior to that, I had submitted my own song, and then I also worked on a song called, from the album The Fury. It was a oh goodness, contemporary blues album by Antonio Vergara. And I had a track, I have a song that I sing on his album. And so the album actually got nominated. And so those of us that worked on it got nominated too. So if we would have won, I would have won, So that was really exciting. And that was my first trip around the sun there. the Recording Academy sun, the Grammy sun.
Glenda, I noticed that you have a new Academy nominee coming up for the 68th Grammys. So you submitted another song, correct?
Yeah. This is my newest submission, and it's called "God's Gonna Cut You Down." It's in the roots category. They put a lot of things in the roots category, like Americana, country. It's all in that category. So, yeah. So I'm doing that. It's a pretty fab song. It's an old classic, and Johnny Cash originally did it. And then I think Marilyn Manson, Odetta, there was like tons of people that have remade that song.
Wow. Yeah, I noticed that. I was just like, oh, she's going for the Grammys again.
Yep. Every year. Yeah.
So, Glenda, I want to get into the tree because I noticed on your
Yeah.
post you have a new single that you want people to download, and with that download, you're
Yes.
planting a tree, correct?
Correct. I'm kind of like an affiliate with I call myself an affiliate, I guess, but with One Tree Planted. And so what I love to do is I feel like if people want to support arts, support my music, support me as an artist, I just say buy a tree, buy my merchandise. Buy my merchandise, buy records, buy whatever I have on my site, right? And if you do that, then what I do is I get on One Tree Planted and I purchase a tree for each person. And so this last month, I've planted another 40 trees. So it's great. And then I'll email them back and I say, I planted a tree for you. So I let everybody know.
Oh, that's cool. I
Yeah.
like that. I
Yeah.
really like that.
It's pretty awesome. And it's really helpful right now because we've got them burning. So
Yes, right. We need more trees right now.
we need to refurbish them. Replant.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Not refurbish, replant. God, I don't know where my words are today.
Oh, that's okay. I was listening. I went onto your site because I do my homework, right? I dig a little.
Yeah.
You have a single on there called "Beautifully Flawed."
Flawed. Yeah. Yeah.
I really like the tone of that and like the like the heavy,
Yeah.
graspy sound to it. So is that a new single as well, or is that one of your older ones?
No, but it's one of my songs. That's been out there for a little bit for the last couple of years, I think. And yeah, Beautifully Flawed is really a statement about you're beautiful, even though we're all flawed, and to just love yourself and embrace yourself, even though you're feeling pretty bad about it.
Absolutely. And when you were on Tea Time the last time, we talked about the badass goddess. So are you
Yeah.
still doing that? Are you still doing retreats for that as well? Or
Yeah, it'll be my first retreat. I actually started down a road with some retreats in the past, and then I just took a break like you. I was like, it was too much for me, and I really needed to stay focused on the music. I wanted to do Grammys. There was a bunch of other stuff that I really wanted to do, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to take a break, and so I did. And then I ended up working with a gal out of the UK, and we got talking, and we've created this little partnership called Goddess Code VIP, the Goddess Code VIP, and that's you can go to. We're going to do a retreat, a 1-day retreat in the UK, which is right outside of London. It's an area, it's kind of like a little suburb or something, Harlow. Anyway, it's on the website, but yeah, we're going to do a 1-day from starting like at noon, going till about 6. We've got a wonderful artist that's going to be also playing music, handpan music, very relaxing, where there'll be meditation. There'll be a variety of things. I'll do my Soul on Fire. It's a wonderful hybrid multimedia performance where I tell stories. I give everyone a journal, and then I tell stories, I sing songs, and then also we ask questions, and then we share. We do a lot of paired shares, and then Dr. Madeline Chan, she'll be doing her portion of the retreat too. So there's a variety of things. So it's going to be really fun and really enlivening for the day, and it's pretty nominal fee. So that'll be great. Yeah.
so is it the UK the only retreat you're doing this year?
Thus far, I'm launching it there. And then I think we're going to head up to Scotland. I have another connection up there to do one retreat in Edinburgh and do that. And then we'll see. We'll see what then we'll all pitch it to some other possibilities, other places, other corporate or, other retreats that would want to bring me in for Soul on Fire. So that's my piece of it.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
So any new books since we last talked, Glenda?
No time.
No time. The music's first, Liz.
No time. There's like, you got to relax too. No, it's and as doing a book and doing a show is a big deal. So there's a lot of preparation and inspiration and things to marketing and all kinds of stuff. So I'm just trying to stay in my lane and stay steady with the music, stay steady with, the Soul on Fire live performance and, promote that. And then, we'll see this year about Grammys and, that kind of thing. So it should be very exciting coming up. So we're getting ready. The 31st of August is the last date for submissions. And then the voting starts. So there'll be a whole season for voting. It's like, whoa. Yeah.
So I did some more homework on you, and you have a new album coming out called The 4 Shades of Blue. When's that coming out, or is that out?
I do.
It was on your Facebook page.
What?
Yeah, you have like a blue poster with 4 faces, and it says new album.
Oh, yes. And yes.
No, yes, please, you're too early. Oh,
goodness Lord. No, that's a project that I worked on with a guy out of France. His name is Guy, actually. And this is his album. And I'm one of the female vocalists. I wrote 2 songs on that album. So yeah. So that's up for Grammys also. I got 4 this year that are in contenders for Grammys. So
that's good. Keep your fingers crossed. I was just like, did I get something out too early?
No, I was like, what?
You know me, I do my homework and research, right? Just like,
now you're tricking me. Oh no. Where's my cup of tea? I need my tea. See, we needed to have tea, Liz.
Well, since you mentioned the tea, let's get into your tea. Like your tea over here is
yeah.
You gave me trust in body and action. That was your tea this time. So
yeah,
why those words? Where are we going with those words?
Whew. You really have to trust yourself, and I think that is the most challenging thing to do. To know yourself and then trust yourself. Like, am I making the right decision? Should I do this? How do I feel about that? What do you think about that? So that's really what I was thinking for trust.
So we got the trust. Now let's get the other ones. We got in body and action.
Yeah. So I kind of thought like it was really neat the way T is, right? So once you trust yourself, you can embody that. Right. And once you embody that, then it's easier to step forward and go right into action. Right. But it happens like that. Right. You got to trust, then you embody the trust, and then you can go into action with whatever you want to do.
Absolutely. I love it. It's a nice little smooth tea.
Right?
See, she didn't even have her bring her beverage tea. She brought the story tea, and that's what I love, right?
Yeah, the story. Exactly. Yay.
Well, it almost aligns with the titles of your books as well, right? Because your books are Courage, Find Your Fire, and Ignite Action in Your Life.
Yeah.
Own the Goddess Within, and Soul on Fire. Like, it's all about trusting yourself, right? Trusting that soul and all of that.
Exactly.
So for anybody who didn't see you on Tea Time the first time, we new listeners now, tell us a little bit about each of those books.
Yeah. Courage, Find Your Fire, and Ignite Action in Your Life is what I consider a teaching memoir. So it's really stories about my life, the trials and the triumphs. How do we get through those things? And what was it that had me do what I do? Whether I was successful or not doesn't really matter, right? It's actually being in action, the A, right? TEA. So I thought to myself, because I'd had a lot of wonderful friends had asked me several times, well, how do you do that? How do you do this? And so I was finding myself sharing these stories, and lights were going off for people. And I was like, oh, okay. And then one thing led to another. And then I decided to go ahead and, well, it's another story about that, why I decided to write it. But I came up with an outline. I thought, well, how do you write a book? I don't know. I write a song. I don't write a book, right? So how do I do that? And then I really sat with it. And I thought, well, there's got to be an outline. There's got to be a flow to something. And what do I want to say? Like, what is it that I really, really want to say? And I thought to myself, I kind of stepped back and said, what does it take to have courage? And I saw that it started with clarity. Then you could have courage. Then you could have confidence. Then you could have commitment. And then you can have community. And it happened in that way. You can't have one without the other.
I like the 5 C's.
Right? It really set with me. So I wrote all about that, and I told stories as I went, because those were moments of courage. There was moments of clarity. There were moments of confidence, community, commitment, the whole 9 yards. So that's kind of it in a nutshell, really. Yeah.
Well, we have to add a couple of the C's, a couple of the P's, a couple of the R's, a couple of the T's, right?
We'll take it. We'll take whatever gets you through, right?
Right. So with your Ignite Action, is that a memoir as well?
No, it's just a kind of a subtitle. Ignite Action in Your Life. Yeah, it's just a subtitle to Courage, Find Your Fire, and Ignite Action in Your Life. It was kind of like, so once you have all those things, you can really start to have the life that you want.
Yeah.
That's how we came up with that.
And let's go with the goddess within. Where's this goddess come from?
Oh man, goodness. Goddess came from in my kitchen from a friend of mine. She turned to me and she said, "You're a badass goddess." And I was like, no, like at first, most of us women, we don't really take compliments very well. At least I don't. I'll speak for myself. But it was always challenging. And I stopped myself and I said, listen to what she has to say, because there's something in that she's complimenting you on. Don't refuse it. Don't do that. And so I sat back and I go, okay, well, what does that mean? Well, for me, I thought, and that's a lot of responsibility, right? Taking on something like that. If you're going to step into goddess status, and it's not about beating somebody up or being controlling or being manipulative. It's not in that realm. A goddess is really a pure essence of the feminine, and really stepping into that. And when you're a badass, that means you move the energy. You know how to move it. You know how to balance. And so I really set with that. And I decided to create my own acronym around badass. So it goes badass, which is B for beautiful, A for accessible, D for daring, A for affluent, S for sassy, or abundant. You could say abundant if you want. S for sassy, and then the last S is like for sexy or sensual or whatever. You make up your own. I always made up my own. And so I said, no, this is what badass means to me. And I'll step into that. I live into that, not like I'm going to go beat somebody up.
Right? I'm not that big, mean badass that's coming for you.
Yeah, I'm going to come and, kick down the doors. It's like, no. Being a badass
comes here to
the
stage, right? Like,
that's right. Yeah, it's not that. So I always encourage everybody, make your own acronym like T, right? Yeah. It's the same thing, right? Make it your own.
Yeah. And that's the thing, right? We have to stay unique to ourselves. And I think that's what I really liked about your music, Glenda, is when I listen to it, it's got a different feel to it, a different rasp to it. That's the word I was looking for earlier. The rasp. I love that rasp in your voice.
Thank you.
And it makes you feel like you're chilled, like, like a good old blues song.
Yeah.
You don't hear that very much anymore.
Yeah.
So I like that feel. I like the feel of that song. Like, I listened to it a couple times. I was just like, I like that kind of feel of that. So
thank you.
It's almost like you got that sass in there and that sexy in there. And like, you got all of the badass in there, right?
Just we got to do that as women. I think we got to find our badassness. Yeah.
Let's talk about that for a while, Glenda. Women empowerment, because you do a lot of women empowerment.
Yeah.
How have you seen the change in the last year with women empowerment?
I think we're in the best of times and the worst of times. I think we're in a really awesome opportunity because I feel that the energy on the planet is shifting. And yes, there's a lot of trauma, drama, whatever. But I think if we disengage in that type of milieu, I guess, and just really stay focused on how do I empower myself? What does that mean for me as a human being? Yes, maybe a woman, maybe not. But what is that? What is that for me? And finding your path and being able to really just get in there, roll up your sleeves and really see what's under the hood, so to speak, and start to dismantle the things that we've either bought from other people, meaning bought, meaning believe. I
Yeah.
believe that, when I was 6, someone told me, whatever. And now I, run around and act like that. Right. It's like, no, you got
I'm
to
that
just,
little rebel that I was at 6 years old, right?
right. And sometimes you have to dismantle things sometimes because it isn't you, or it was you. It's not you now. And so the self-reflection is very, very key, I believe, in anyone's growth at all. Self-reflection, um, being mindful of who you are, what you're doing, who's around you, how am I serving? What's my conversation? What is my shadow? What are my shadows? How do I deal with those? How do I transform out of that into the new me? It's an ongoing thing. And I feel like, I love to, um, share that by being, but I also love to share it through my music, through my work, just to give others an inspiration of like, I could do that too. Why can't I? Okay. Because I do that all the time. I'll read somebody something, or I'll hear a story and I'll go, I could try that. Let me try that on. Let me see how that works for me.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, it's like fashion, right?
Exactly.
One lady wears that dress and another lady wears it, and it's just like, no,
Yeah,
you know.
exactly.
I want to get into the fashion a little bit because I seen your outfit at the Grammys.
Yeah.
And I thought it was amazing. I was like, well, look at you go there, Glenda. Like,
Awesome.
I followed you, man, with those Grammys. Like, I was just like, I know that person. I know her. I know her.
That's awesome, Liz. Thank you. And I'm really proud of that. That outfit are you ready for this?
Yeah, I'm
It
ready.
is, it was made for me. I had it made actually from a tailor in London. And it is an outfit from the 1840s, I think, 1860s. I'm not sure, that right around that time period. And it's a male outfit. It's for what men used to wear, with the high collar and
Wow.
the scarf. It was not a feminine outfit at all.
I thought you were like the ringmaster of the evening. I was just like, is she gonna perform? Like, I was like watching the Grammys, and I was just like, I don't. Where is she? Where is
I
she?
would have loved to perform. That would have been fabulous. Get out of the
But
way.
you never know, right?
Yeah, you
Put it
never
put it
know.
into the universe, and you never know, right?
Yeah,
We had a couple of questions that came in during your promotion for Tea Time
yeah.
coming back on, so I'm gonna get those questions out to you. Let's start with the first one. You've been described as having a soul on fire. What does that phrase personally mean to you, and how does it drive your music and message?
Wow, that's a great question. Soul on fire. Yeah, that's for me. Soul on fire means you are ignited. Your soul is clear about what you are, what you want to do, and it's on fire. There's no stopping it, right? If you've ever seen a fire,
Yeah.
there's no stopping it unless there's some water. So, and what that means for my music, I feel like I infuse that passion. I infuse the love for really being in service and helping people through the vibration, through the musicality, through the lyric, through all of it, and then just my being, and I want other people to lift up and raise up to their self too. And I want to inspire them to go, I'm going to do that my way. I'm going to have my soul on fire.
And I think that's what I really like about your music, Glenda, is you do it your way.
Yeah.
Like you put the twist and the turns and the curves in there, and I'm just like, ooh, that's different. I like it. You
Awesome.
know?
Thank you. You think that really means a lot. I mean, I'm not a formulaic kind
Yeah,
of
like you're
artist.
not like you're unique and beautiful. Like I love the flow. Like it comes in where you think an instrument's gonna play, that instrument's not playing. It's a different instrument.
Yeah.
Like it keeps you on your toes, right?
Yeah.
And I think that we need more of that. We need
I
more
think so
unique
too. I
music
think,
teams,
well, I'm a real artist.
right? And it's
Dating
not
back
just
to the
like ding
1800s.
ding 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 ding. Yeah, my sister's gonna learn how to play the banjo. I still that is one on my bucket
Do
list.
it. Do it. I
Yeah,
love banjo.
yeah. Since I was a little girl, I always wanted to play the banjo. So I'm gonna do it. I'm
That's
gonna do it.
awesome. There's a lot of online
Uh,
classes.
right?
Yeah.
I don't know why. I just picture myself on this old country farm playing the
Yeah.
banjo and somebody blowing into the big jug and the spoons going and
Yeah. Okay, so
accordions
here's
and
the thing, Liz. You're going to get somebody's banjo. You're going to go take a picture of yourself with that banjo, and that's going to sit
okay.
on your desktop.
There we go, right? Manifest it.
Yes. Yeah. Well, you know what? I learned to play guitar, but I never played mandolin, and I play mandolin now.
There you
Like,
go.
and I never thought, I never
That's
even
the
thought
little
I
guy,
would.
right?
Yeah.
There. Oh, that's a nice one
Yeah.
too. That
There
that
she is.
that one too. Oh my goodness. You have it right there. Can you play something?
Yeah, I could. I don't know how good it's going to sound.
You
And
know
it's
me, I always throw in surprises. I'm just like, you got an
well,
instrument? Come on, let's get
and
some
it's
music.
not even tuned up, but hey, what the heck? Why not? My
Right?
nails are my nails are so long. Ooh, it's out of tune. Yeah, never mind. Yeah, it's out of tune. Ooh, no, we won't do that. Ooh.
But you see, this is how tea time is. You just never know what's coming.
That's right. It's like, ooh, no. And my nails are like a really long right now. On this hand, you can't play with long nails. This hand, yes. But yeah,
So you
anyway.
need
Sorry, didn't mean to torture anyone out there.
wake up call.
Right? It's like, okay, stick to singing.
So I'll get a couple more questions out here that I have for you, Glenda.
Awesome.
As a Grammy nominated artist, how has your musical journey evolved over the years, and what moments stand out as turning points in your career? I think we have somebody who's following you.
Yeah, I think turning points in my career. Wow, that was saying yes. I think for me, I'm a true artist, and I love working with others, and I just keep doing what I do, and then it's kind of like magic, where then it shows up, and then people show up, and they kind of go, "Oh, do you want to do this?" And I go, "Yes." I mean, I make sure I tune into it, to make sure that that's aligned with whatever that project is, and then I take a chance. And that's what happened with the Grammy nomination this last year. And I think that was definitely a turning point on many, many levels for me. And it does come with opportunities, some good, some not so good. But it's really, and it's an interesting journey, but you just got to keep going. You just got to keep living into what you're about, and your voice, and your story, and how you want to share it with people. And I say this broadly for everybody, not just artists. If there's something that you're wanting to do, or that you've always been passionate about, you should at least just take one little step, and just keep doing it.
I like that. Just say that. Yes, I can.
Yes, just say
That
yes.
that new Bonnie Taylor song is in my playlist. Yes, I
Yeah.
can. Like
Okay.
she's what, 65, 70, Bonnie
Bonnie,
Taylor?
Bonnie Tyler. Is it Bonnie Tyler you're talking about? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I don't know. Maybe older. I don't know.
And she just came out with the song called Yes, I Can.
Nice.
And
I have to check that out.
yeah, you got to check that one out. That's a real good one for women empowerment. And it's got a good beat to it too.
Yeah, I love it.
So the next question I have for you is, your work goes beyond music. you also mentor women in finding their authentic voices. What inspired you to take on this role, and what impact have you seen?
Well, mentoring really started for me actually with Grammys. Grammy University um, asked me if I wanted to mentor young artists,
Oh,
young women actually, and I said, "Sure, why not?" I thought, "Okay, well, what am I gonna what am I gonna help them with?" Because I'm not an official, I'm not a vocal coach, I'm not, I don't, I consider myself a lyricist, a musician, but I'm not one of those to go, "Hey, I have a songwriting, course for you today." That's so not me. So not me.
I got a badass course for you today.
That's so not me. So at first I was pretty unconfident with it, but I thought, you know what? I'm like, okay, you're coming to a cliff, just keep going. So that's kind of how I live life sometimes. So just go, there's the cliff. Yeah, I'm still walking. Okay, there it is. Okay, I'm over the cliff. It's like that. So that's kind of how I started the mentoring. And I think people, what I've heard comments back from that is that they, first of all, they just say they're really grateful. They're really grateful that I took the time to share and give them that support, give them that inspiration to, like, no, you can do it. There's no like, this is a closed club. I don't believe in all that. I'm very
There's a
secure.
sass.
Yeah, I'm very secure in who I am, and I think that we're stronger together as a group of women, and loving each other, and handling. If you are insecure, handle that. Find out what that's about, because that's a lie. Okay. And that is not true. You
Yeah.
are you, and you need to develop you, and you need to get off being insecure, jealous, nasty, backbiting. Get off that. That's not that day. This is not that day. You need to grow up and step into your beauty and your gorgeousness, and who you are, and really find that out. I probably added more to that question than they wanted to know.
No, that's all good. And we talked about that on the first time you were on, is
Yeah.
that competition and that sass, and that
Yeah.
you know, let's just all work together. Let's empower one another,
That's right.
You see somebody
Exactly.
doing something, that maybe you can't do, encourage them to keep going. Like,
Exactly.
so,
Exactly. Exactly. And I think we'll all feel healthier and happier, if, and especially if we feel like we can, you know, love ourselves enough to ask our friends or our neighbors or our sisters to, like, you know, I just did that with another gal friend of mine. I'm not really close with her, but I was like, sister, like, you need some support here. I said, don't use that. Don't use one of this is an expensive mic, but I'm like, she was like gonna use like her microphone on her computer to sing her song. And I said, no, 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 no.
yeah,
So I helped her, and I gave her some, not only tips, but I gave her the right people to go to support her, so she can have the best product she has. Why wouldn't I do that?
yeah.
Right.
Right.
Like,
Give her the right tips and encourage her to do it the right
and
way.
and introduce her to the right people. Why
Yeah.
wouldn't I do that? Like, no, you're putting out your thoughts, your inspiration, your vibration, your journey. You could probably help somebody. And if you suck, and no one wants to listen to the song, well, guess who you didn't help?
Yeah,
you know?
exactly. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think we need to encourage more people.
Yeah.
I've been watching, and there's so many downers that it's like, oh, I'm just gonna move away. Well,
Yeah.
how about you move in instead of away, and find out how
Mhm.
you can help. And
Yeah.
sometimes just by listening or giving a solution or a connection that you might have,
Yeah.
to encourage them
Yeah.
and
And you
be
can always
truthful.
ask. You know, sometimes there are people that they don't want your opinions or ideas or help or anything like that. But you can always ask, you know,
Right.
you can ask, and then maybe they'll open up and say, yeah, actually, I would like your support in
Yeah.
that, you know.
And we just saved your mic because you almost choked your mic. She's like, so I got a couple more questions for you here, Glenda,
Yeah.
that came in. Uh, you blended your artistry with activism and environmental stewardship. How do you use the platform to bring awareness and create change?
Um, to me, it's just I blend it all together. So I feel like I need to, for me, I need to do something. So I I pick trees. I love the ocean. There are oxygen. Our trees are our lungs. You know, that type of thing. So I thought to myself, you know, I just really feel like there's a company, they're out of Vermont, One Tree Planted. I thought, yeah, I'm going to partner with them. You know, I sell a song, they get a tree, I'll buy a tree. And the neat thing about it is that it's kind of a win-win because the person buys my products, whatever they are, I can see that. I go, whatever they buy, I go and buy a tree for them. Right. So it's kind of a cool way of thinking. I buy something for you. So you buy me, I buy you. You know, of course you have to
It's
care
that
about
full
the tree.
circle, right?
Right. And I
Um,
thought, oh, that's a great way to give back, you know, not just, you know, in do your typical way, but do it in such a way that everybody participates. So you kind of get bang for your buck, really. It's like, oh, I got to support an artist, I got the product, and I got to plant a tree.
yeah.
I'm like, yeah, me too. You know, it's like, yay, I'll do that
So,
for you.
so Glenda, when they buy this song, right? Can they buy more than one time? Like, can they buy multiple?
They can. I mean, and it's nice because I have it on. Obviously it's on stream. A lot of my stuff is on streaming platforms, which I'm not a fan of, but I have to do Grammys. But you can go to Bandcamp. You can go to my YouTube channel, like and subscribe, that all that stuff. You can also go to Bandcamp. Or actually, sorry, you can go to my website, glendamusic.com. You can buy the latest song. You can buy the older ones if you want. And it's 99 cents, but you can put whatever you want in it. I just had
Okay.
somebody bought one of my songs for $50.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's kind of neat, you know, then I have to plant 5 trees. Um, so, but you see what I'm saying? It's like, cause I take $1 off, but you can, you know, you can just put whatever you want, you know, but the minimum is 99 cents or whatever. So it's pretty
I think
cool.
it's really cool. I like, people should check it out there. If they check out the Facebook page, they can also see that because I've shared the link and all that as well. So,
Yeah,
give you a follow and check it out and, plant a tree. Like it's that full circle of life, right?
it
And
is. It really
I love
is.
it.
It's helping each other. And I think that's really the way to go, you know, for everyone. Cause
Yeah.
it's like, you know, the tree is not just for me. It's like, no, we're all breathing in the air, you know,
Right? We all got to take it in. We all need trees. Like how many trees have they burn every year? It's not just one year. It's every year. There's forest fires. There's,
that's right.
you know,
Yeah.
um,
Canada this year is getting hit hard. We got a little bit going on up in Oregon. Where are you, Liz?
I'm in Cornwall, Canada.
Oh, yeah. So
Yeah.
you're burning.
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
I'm
our
sorry. It's
skies have
horrible.
been foggy there because of distant fires. Like we're in
Mm,
zone, but the smog is coming, right? So
yeah. Yeah,
yeah, it's crazy.
man. Yeah, I
Yeah.
love Canada. So, and I have planted trees actually in Canada. So I've planted Canada, the UK, because that's one of my favorite places on the planet. Oregon, Washington, and of course California. So, but I'm sure people will need more somewhere else at some point.
Well, even with the weather, right? Then all these storms coming in and ripping trees out, like
That's
we
right.
gotta get we got. It's not just fires; it's like
Yeah.
tornadoes and hurricanes and stuff like that. So.
And here's the interesting thing. We get so many things from trees. Like, not only do we get our oxygen, but we get nuts. We have animals' homes, that's where they live, and that's where they take shelter. And if we get rid of all of that and destroy all of that and not replace it, we're next. It's not like we're invincible, untouchable, and I'm really hoping that people can really see that and start taking care of the environment the way it really needs to be taken care of, and realize that we are all one. We are all connected for real. I know we're so isolated in our cities and stuff like that. And we're not taught that basic stuff that our great grandparents knew, that are even our grandparents, that how to live off the land, how to honor the land. There's cycles of things, you know what I mean? Don't take the whole thing. Don't rip stuff up. Don't tear it down because it doesn't look pretty. It's like, what? Where are we going? Like, for example, we have these beautiful redwoods, and they planted it too close to my house. And they're huge redwoods. They're massive. Like, I can't even get around them. Right. And one of the it branches off like this. So one of the limbs goes into the house, and it gets really scary when it's windy, and, and it's like, and internally fought with myself. But this is what I thought. And it's not just one way to do something. So I brought in an arborist. I brought in a professional. And I said, I love this tree. I don't want to kill it. I don't want to tear it down. It houses animals and creatures. And I love it. It gives me shade. It gives us oxygen. Please. I said, Is there a way that we can get that limb off of the house? The guy said, yeah, no problem. We'll just cut it.
And just a little haircut, right?
Yeah, we'll just cut it. We cut it down so it's still balanced, right? So it's not going to fall over and into another house. And it was like, now see, there's problem solving.
Right?
with a professional.
It just needed a little haircut.
Yes. And the squirrels and everybody's happy. The crows are happy. Everybody's happy. They still have a place, and nobody's dying. No one's falling over. Our house is not being destroyed. So,
see, and you found a solution, and that's what we need to do, right? It's not just tear down everything. Like, actually see if there's another plan B, C, D, E. Like, stop going to plan A, tear down.
That's right. Kill it, tear it down. It's like, wow,
tear it down.
really?
That's it. We're done with you.
Oh my Lord.
Well, I got a couple more questions here for you, Glenda, before we wrap up, because we're almost at the end here.
Okay.
How do you weave themes of healing, empowerment, and freedom into both your music and mentoring work?
I set intentions. So depending on what I'm going to write about, or whatever someone wants me to teach them or whatever, I set intentions, my own personal intentions, and then the intentions with mentoring or whatever. Like, what's your intention, and then I have my own rituals that I do for myself before I sing, before I do anything. I make sure that I'm kind of plugged in, and that I'm actually giving the right vibration and the right healing activation for whatever I'm doing. I think that's, for me, that's really important to activate that. Otherwise, you're just kind of floating around doing random stuff, whatever. I'm not that.
Yeah.
Intention.
I like it. Intention. And we talked about that this afternoon with Debbie. See, and we talked about magic too with Debbie. And see, we're talking about the same. It was meant to be. That's what happened last year on Tea Time too. All my guests, like afternoon, evening, they all just blended in together.
Wow.
Right? You travel globally and touched audience everywhere. What cultural or personal experiences have most influenced your creative process?
Early days, it was different. It was different each stages of my life. So early days for me was West African. I love West African music, and I was doing hybrid blends of soul, R&B, hip hop, West African. I was doing that. I love jazz. I'm going to be doing jazz probably this next year with my vocal coach. who trained Susan Boyle for 10 years, and he's phenomenal. Like his singing, he's a singer and he's phenomenal, like phenomenal with a big F. His name is Fred O'Neill is his name. Anyway, fabulous singer. And he and I are putting together a couple jazz sets that we're going to be maybe touring. We're looking at doing that together. So I'll be doing jazz, which I do. I love jazz, blues. It's always got a spin to it. So the kind of jazz you'll hear, you go, well, that's kind of bluesy. So anyway, that's me, because I'm just bringing me. And yeah, so I think that's how I started, moved into that. And then other cultures. I mean, I think I love Middle Eastern flavor too. The Doonbeck from West Africa, the ney, and the sitar. I mean, all those are just their sounds are amazingly transformational. So I love just blending things. I haven't in a while. I've kind of just stayed steady with doing roots style of music, roots blues. That's kind of my style that I've been coming into. Been working with Nora Jones as guitar player. They've got a song on deck. It's called Outlaw Woman. That's going to go in my Soul on Fire show, and it'll be up too. I'll have it out probably towards the end of the year. But yeah, so I'm working with him, and so I just get influences from a lot of different people, and I just see what fits. What's the vibrational match? What's my intention here? How do I want to infuse whatever's going? Because here's the thing, people will get whatever they get, right? I mean, I've turned around and people go, I love I Burn. I go, well, they really knew what that was written about, but they take on whatever they need to have from that song. It's not my place. It's my place to write it, interpret it the way I want to, let it out in the world, and then let others glean whatever they want from it, whatever healing that they want to take. So,
well, it's when we listen to a song, right? One person will get one perspective of it, and then the next person, and the next person. And then when you sit them all together and you ask them, and you're like, oh, well, that's interesting that you got that from that. And so you have a good conversation about the song and all that.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
So when you're putting your music together, Glenda, is that what happens? Like when you're working with a bunch of different people, is you throw it through, like you throw this kind of vocal onto it, and then they're like, ooh.
It's different every time. Like there's no set formula, which is really interesting, right? I mean, I came from old school where I had a band, and we would get together in a room and rehearse and knock stuff out, right? No, it doesn't happen like that much anymore. Unless you have a lot of dosh behind you, and then you can hire musicians to come in and rehearse and all that stuff. It just gets harder. Has gotten harder. That part's gotten harder. But having technologies made things easier to get things up faster. So if I work, like I have a music partner that I work with, Gene Williams. He's also a mastering engineer. He and I work on stuff together. We've written tons of songs, and then we bang it out on guitar or whatever. And then he'll go to the computer, and then he'll arrange things or whatever, or we'll bring somebody in and somebody else will play on it, or what's happening, like with Josh, I sent him Outlaw Woman, the track itself. And I said, we're going to replace that guitar. Please do you, and this is the parameters. This is the intention. And then we go. And then Josh will do it and he'll send it back. So it's a lot of this online stuff, which is fabulous because I can work with him. I can work with people in the UK. I can work with people in the Middle East. Whoever I want to work with, I can work with them. They don't have to be here. I don't have to be here. We just have to have access to a studio, and I've got great mics, so I got great gear.
Well, because there's so much work that goes into putting a song together, right? Where people think, oh, you just put it to mic and you just sing. No, there's so much work behind a song.
Yes, ma'am. You have no idea.
So how long does it roughly take you, Glenda, to make a song?
If I'd stay, like, let's just say ideally, you spend, it could be a day, it could be 2 days, it could be a week. You write the song, do the lyrics, bang it out, do the music. It could take, I don't know, 2 or 3 weeks, maybe max. If you were on it, but I can't be on it because first of all, you have to rest, you have to do other things. You have, life happens. You have other people you're working with. They aren't going to be there. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
so it ends up taking a lot longer than you think. And then I work with I work with a guy out of New York. He's a fabulous singer, songwriter, producer. And he plays, he's a great guitar player. Anyway, I've been working with him. We've been rearranging a song that I wrote like 20 years ago. And it's fabulous. It's like a whole dance track. I mean, it's like really, really cool. So the songs evolve and live on. And, sometimes it took him like 3 days and he had it done. And I sent it back to me and I still haven't cut the vocal.
I'm going to take 3 days to wait to get back to you.
It's going to take me forever. Yeah. And
Glenda, we have a really empowering question here.
Yeah.
Looking at today's music industry, what changes do you believe and still needed to elevate women's voices and stories?
That's really good. What changes do we need? I see it like this. That's a great question, by the way. Thank you for asking that. 2 things. Women need to support women. We need to stop with that backbiting stuff. We need to embrace each other. We need to play more together. Respond, be active, keep working, keep doing your thing, keep getting out there, be generous, be kind, be empowered, be all of those things. And that's neat because the doors do open. I've been fortunate enough that I never really thought of myself as a woman. So I don't think like that. I think of myself as a person, and I've worked with men all my life. So I don't see the difference. It sounds weird in my psyche. So I don't think that I don't look at things and go, oh, I didn't get that because I'm a woman, or I didn't get that because they don't like women, or they don't, I'm sure it's there, but I don't let it stop me. I just keep being out there. And I would recommend that for every beautiful woman out there to really step into your empowerment and just step forward, and whatever that means for you and whatever life calls you to do, I would just say, do that, just do that. Don't hide. Don't be not seen, be
Absolutely.
seen. Just like what you're doing, Liz, like you're being seen. You've put this together. You've done the work. You're not stopping. You're a generous being. You're doing this. You're just doing it. You can feel your space. Like I can feel your love and generosity. I feel it. And I'm sure all your guests do. And obviously you have people that are listening and watching, and they do too. And that's all we need to do.
I think by taking the break, Glenda, it gave my listening audience a chance to really see what was coming and what I was actually doing, right?
Yes.
Because as soon as I put the posters out, and this year I said less is more, right? Last year I was doing so many posters, so many press releases, everything. I was doing so much that I burnt myself out.
Yeah.
Because I'm a one-man team. Like there's nobody else over here helping. But when I put the posters out, now I'm getting people that are sending questions, and I'm going through the questions and I'm scanning them, and I'm like, ooh, those are interesting questions. I would like to know the answers to those.
Right. Yeah.
So, but people are sending questions now. And
that's awesome.
I'm putting the posters out, and I like that. And I'm just like, oh, okay. So you are following. So you get that, that knowledge that people are listening, and that. So like when I put your poster out, like questions just came flying in. When I put Jim's out, it came flying in. I was like, oh, okay, these are cool questions. So like I'm going through them, and I'm putting like top 10 questions. There's more than 10 questions, but I'm picking the top 10 ones out there that I feel that the listeners want to know, right?
Yeah. Well, you know, and I'll offer you this. If you have more questions that people want to know, send them to me. I'll answer them and send them back to you, and you can send them back to them. If
Okay,
that's
sounds good.
if that supports you, you know, in
Yeah,
your business, because I know when people ask questions, they're hoping they'll get answered, you know.
absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so if that supports you, I would love to do that for you, Liz.
So,
Yeah.
Glenda, before we wrap up, because we're almost at the hour,
Yeah.
my last question that I'm going to ask you this year is, what is one thing that has made a huge difference in your life?
Mm. These are hard questions. Um, what is the
Nothing's easy with Miss
one
Liz.
thing? Um, I think the one thing that's really made a difference for me is being able to step back as an artist and go, I am more than just a singer, songwriter, author, you know, podcaster, like all the things that I've done. That is the accumulation of me. But what was frustrating me for, I would say, a good last 3 to 4 years, how do I take that, blend those things together, make it so it serves people, and but still at the same time serves me, and it's authentic, like I'm actually doing something that I feel really good about and that I know serves others, just beyond what I'm doing. How do I blend it so that it also helps me, you know, and creates an income? And I finally had a breakthrough in that. So that, I think that was my momentous moment, was the clouds parted. Um, uh, you can do
We
story.
need those moments in life, Glenda.
You can do storytelling. You can sing. You can show beautiful images. You can take quotes from your book. You can ask deep questions, and everyone can have journals, and you can write in them. And it was like, oh my God, it's all coming together. I get to use all of that, and people will pay for that.
Yeah.
You know, and it's sad to say that, you know, people, because of how things are rapidly changing for the internet and everything like that, and AI and everything, it's like it's really becoming like, well, that's free, that's free, that's free, that's free. Then you just go, oh my God, how am I going to really create an income for myself? It's free.
Yeah.
And so I've just blended everything together, and I'm just allowing people to step forward and go, yeah, I want to come to that 1 day retreat, you know, and step into my beautiful badassness, you know,
Yeah.
and you know, honor you as an artist, and also take away something for myself at home, you know, and have my life launch. So I figured it out. That was it. That was my takeaway.
That was it. Oh, and that's what we have this year, right? Which
Yeah.
is leading me into closing up tonight's tea time. Is on August 12th, we have a moment. We have the Golden Heart surprise. So if you see that on the poster and you don't see a face, it's because there's a golden surprise that Miss Liz is going to bring to the table. So it could either be an activity, it could be a guest, it could be just a pop in. We don't know what's going to happen. Those are Golden Heart moments, and I
Oh,
really want to bring that. It could also be an audience member that's listening and would just like to have their story shared, and
oof.
they feel that they're not able to do it, then the poster's too much for them, it's overwhelming, they can just pop on, and we're going to have, so there's going to be a lot of Golden Heart moments this year on Tea Time as well, so stay tuned for that. This month the lineup is out there, check it out. There are some incredible guests that are coming, including my daughter. She'll be sharing her story, so her mother's story, becoming a mother. So those are incredible moments to look at. Glenda, I really want to thank you for joining me and sharing and
Mhm.
getting it out there. Anybody that wants to reach out to Glenda, check out her website. Glenda, if you'd like to just give your website a shout out, and then we'll wrap it up. And
Yeah. And what's really simple is glendamusic.com. That's really easy. I know it's glendabenevides.com, but that's really hard. To, you know, misspellings are real easy with that. But it's Glenda, Glenda music.com, and that's it'll take you all there. There's everything you can imagine that's on my website, and just reach out and say hey.
Absolutely. And I just want to thank you again, Glenda, for coming back. And I told you I get you back here. So and a special shout out to Mickey Mickelson for getting Glenda with me again. And a couple of the other guests that will be on in August, September, October, November, and December. And again, we're not doing a reunion show this year. We will be just doing straight interviews straight through and see where that goes, because Miss Liz is also working on other things. So again, thank you, Glenda, for joining me. Thank you to the listening audience. Thank you to Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, all of those places that stream Miss Liz's Tea Time. To all the podcast apps out there, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And I will see you guys on August 12th with a Golden Heart moment. And then we'll be joined in the evening with Tara Hodgins. And she'll be coming in and sharing her story and her book and all that good stuff. So we got a lot coming on the 12th. So join us for 3 p.m. and 7 p.m. And then on Thursday, the same thing. So it'll be Tuesdays and Thursday, 3 and 7 p.m. for Miss Liz this year. So thank you all. And I'll wish you guys all a good night. Enjoy your weekends. Glenda, enjoy your time. And we'll talk soon.
Thanks.